So the first thing I want to start off with is people who want to know what is the Keith Andrew Network. The whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. Never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. Just prove to them you can still amount to something. So that being said, half hour of your time, PG, PC-13, but it is uncensored. You have the right to say anything you want. That's completely up to you. And because we have a new guest on our show, I'm going to start off with you. What can you tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Oh, well, me, I'm that. But personally, I'm an actor based out of Brooklyn. I mean, acting is just one of the jobs I do in the entertainment industry. But, that's primarily my focus. I've been an actor for 21 years, been in the union for 14 years. I've done a few projects. My TV show that I was in, Bronx SIU, got nominated for multiple Emmys. I was in Robert Downey Jr.'s comeback film, A Guide to Recognize the Saints. I did a couple of things, I'll be sorry. Like sometimes it's hard for me to talk about myself.
But go ahead.
Yeah, and I do stand up. I train in stunts. I do a little bit of songwriting. I just started my and screenwriting as well. I just started my production company, Focus Minds Entertainment, with my partner Alicia Wright, and we basically gearing up to try to prepare to shoot our first project, fully financed by ourselves, in either the beginning of summer or early fall.
No, that's absolutely amazing. And if you guys are interested, if you know anyone, let's do some more group interviews.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
But, it's funny you should mention that. I've been playing with the idea of not really stereotypes, but, for my show, after doing 800 plus episodes, I'm always trying to do brand new things. So I've been talking to a bunch of Asian actors who I've been acting with, well, not acting with, interviewing with. And let's do a special episode about breaking labels and breaking stereotypes. And there's other people who I've been interviewing too. It's like, now let's just do a group and say, okay, one episode is about disabilities, one episode is about African Americans in the entertainment business, how they overcome stereotypes. Then one's about Spanish. Instead of just saying, hey, this show is pretty much about disabilities and breaking labels and stigmas, why not have an opportunity to turn it into something and say, this is my story, and you're giving me an opportunity to be a guest on the show. Might as well hear the opportunity and take the opportunity, if that makes any sense.
Exactly. It makes perfect sense.
Oh, absolutely. Now going over to our second guest, she's been on the show for a second time. It's great to have you back. And the one thing I will say after she gives her piece is that we're going to do something different. It's going to be an open forum where the three of us will interact with each other and ask each other questions. It's going to be a special episode.
All right. Sounds good. It's nice to meet you, Jermel. Sorry, I was putting on another computer down. I have an old computer. I have music on that because it's got still has a CD drive, so you can't get those anymore. And I have so much music on that. You understand, with your production company, you got to keep all the old stuff. So I'm Kimilee, and I think this is actually my third time, Keith, or maybe even fourth time that I've done interviews with you. So I'm here now in South Carolina, but I was also a New York-based actor, lived near Lincoln Center, and sadly I had to sell my apartment. I moved back down here to South Carolina about 6 years ago. I still do a lot of theater, still have some auditions now and then, even for Broadway. And I do like you, I audition right here in my own place. You can't see now because I've got Keith's name back here, but I'm sitting in my voice studio right now. And by voice,
Nice.
I don't mean voice over, although I do that as well. I teach voice, so I teach singing technique and everything. So that's kind of primarily what I'm doing right now, especially during the pandemic. But I have a lot of concerts that are now starting to get on the calendar again. So I'm excited about getting out there in front of an audience again, and coming up to New York in about the first week of June. My sister is moving back. I'm also union actor. I've been in the union for 25 years. I'm probably a little older than you are. Yeah. Well, I started out in Actors Equity, the stage union, and so 25 years in that, a little more now, and then SAG-AFTRA for, gosh, I've been probably 15, maybe at least years, or maybe, oh gosh, no, it's almost 20 because it was around 9/11. It was right around then because I was in LA when 9/11 happened, and that was 2001. So that is almost 20 years. So I've been in the business for a long time. You might hear him in the background. I have a 7-year-old son who has autism. So when we talk about disabilities, that's when I sort of light up and give my thumbs up and all my support to all of that and inclusion. For everyone, we are starting up a theater company here in South Carolina. I'm working really hard. I got to raise a lot of funds. So if anybody knows any big corporations out there that would like to support a new theater company, we are hoping to make it union, or at least partially so. We are making sure that everyone understands. I think that theater, and you might agree with me, Jermel, has always been inclusive. The arts have been inclusive, but like you said, there have been stereotypes. Certainly in the last, I'd say at least 25 years, there've been a lot of breaking of those stereotypes. There have been a lot of jobs I didn't get, and I could see who got my job. The job was someone of a different complexion. So in other words, it doesn't matter now. It doesn't matter, the color of your skin or your background for most shows. I mean, it's theater, it's a play. And Hamilton really showed us that, of course. But many years ago, there was a production of Carousel, which was Rodgers and Hammerstein, written way back in the 40s, right? The story takes place mostly in New England, where there probably would have been mostly white people, but does it matter? And Audra McDonald was in that production, and I don't know if you know Audra McDonald. She's won probably more Tonys than anybody. She took on a role that is usually cast by a white girl like me, or with a white girl like me, and she, African-American girl, and won the Tony for that. That was her first big show, and has won, I don't know, probably 8 or 9 Tonys since, and she's a big star. So if you don't know who she is, you should check her out. But what I'm, yeah, and so what now we are really trying to get across, because like I said, I feel like in the theater especially, maybe not in film and television so much, but in theater especially, has really made the effort to be more inclusive and diverse for over 20 years now. But the difference now is that we are making sure that we say it and make sure that everyone understands you are welcome. Please audition, please. We want your talent. We want your energy. We want all of that. We want diversity. My goodness, we did a version of a production of Into the Woods a few years ago with our theater group. And I just thought, they're fairy tales. It doesn't matter. You can be, be whatever and play Cinderella or the Prince or whoever. So that's what we're trying to do here too, is really make sure, and also those with disabilities, 100%. I've been lucky to teach a lot of students with various disabilities, and they are so talented and so wonderful. And,
I agree. The other question I wanted to talk about, you mentioned you're from the Bronx. My dad used to be a former assistant principal in the Bronx. But the other thing, the reason I bring up it is for people who are in Manhattan, every Saturday at 10:30, as far as I know, but anyway, it's still being aired. But in Manhattan at 10:30, my show's being aired on Manhattan Neighborhood Broadcasting. So I was playing with the idea of reaching out to different networks, and BronxNet was one of them. And they're like, we think you're doing a terrific thing. We would love to air your stuff. Okay, I did the form, and so I upload your episode. Oh, this is the wrong format. The hell are you talking about? This is the wrong format. Manhattan neighborhood is using it, no problem. I'm giving you the same exact everything, and they won't do it. But the reason I bring it up is because you are a comedian and a upcoming fantastic actor. Have you ever thought about being a part or airing some of your work on BronxNet? And
You talking to me?
Yes.
I would. I'm like, it's crazy. It's like now that I'm getting in the producer space, I'm willing to work with anybody who's willing to showcase my materials and stuff. Like a lot of times, though, it was out of my control. So I just show up as the actor on set and just know my marks, know my lines, and everything like that. But now with the space that I'm trying to go to, like as far as like producing my own film and television, if they willing to play it, I wouldn't have no problem with them playing my stuff. But another thing I'm trying to do is like one of the things that me and my partner we basically was talking about was not only like just making the films, but also like trying to start like our own distribution channel as well, like a streaming platform of our own. So it could basically we know that we are independent filmmakers ourselves, and one of the biggest hurdles sometimes like is it's two things. It's funding, and then when you get the funding and you shoot the project, is distribution. So one thing that we was thinking about was all right, so this is a crazy thing. What if we come up with our own distribution, and this way we could distribute our stuff and also distribute stuff from upcoming filmmakers and actors as well, personalities, like whoever that we could give a space to, and have them sign a non-exclusive contract. So basically, they could obtain sales themselves, and if a bigger platform want to come and snatch up their product, like you know what? All right, cool. You could take your product over there, but at the same time, you still could leave it here unless they want you to sign an exclusive agreement. Then you're free to walk away. So it's like
nice.
one thing, yeah, like one thing that COVID and everything that's been going on is made me want more life is control. So because like COVID basically took away a lot of things that we as artists, we as workers, we as families have been able to do as people, as human beings in general. It took away a lot of our livelihoods. So something told me, I think before like months before the pandemic happened, something was telling me, it was like, you know what? It was just in my head. Do your LLC. Do your LLC. And I'm like, why is it so important for me to get this done? And I'm like, but something is telling me to get it done, so I got to get it done. So soon as I got it done, the month later, the pandemic happened. But I was and I was like, I said, okay. I said, it's cool. I said, even though the pandemic happened, only thing that it's doing is just giving me more time to strategize. So I had my LLC, and I had 1.5 scripts completed. And I was like, you know what? I said, since I got the time and I don't have to rush, I'm just gonna finish this script. So now I got the LLC and I got almost 3 scripts completed that I've written through the pandemic. So my thing is like now coming out of the pandemic is to shoot at least a couple of like probably a small project first, a short, or at least shoot some concept trailers so I could go after funding. But until I can get that done, as far as distribution, if Bronx they want to showcase my stuff, I'm gonna let anybody showcase it, you know. But only thing I wanted to know was like, how does it work? But you know, since I'm a union actor and stuff, it's like it's certain things we gotta abide by. That's the only problem.
You know, it's funny you mention that. I didn't mean to interrupt. I do apologize. But you know, when I approach people to be on my show, they're like, like you said, I'm a union actor. How's that? First off, one, you're not making money off this, and I'm not making money off you guys. That's number one. Number two, you're supporting a message about disabilities. And if you're interested, and as I said to Kim, you know, if you're interested, I would love to have you a part of my network, you know, in some form. We can always talk about that off the air. But you mentioned shooting film. So the first two questions I want to ask you, then we can go over to Kim, is, you know, do you have sponsors, number one? And do you pay people, you know, like for your films and being part of your films? Because, you know, you mentioned the LLC. For me, I'm doing this for free. You know, I love to be paid, but I don't have that luxury. So if people want to follow in your footsteps, what would your words of wisdom and some of your advice be?
Well, I mean, right about now, I'm still in the process of locating sponsors. And the reason why I'm trying to do all that is because I don't want nobody working for me for free. You know, like, because at the end of the day, I know that even though this is a passion, this is what we do for a living, I want people to get paid. And one of the reasons is for that is because, one, if somebody, if you paying somebody, that means you got a written contract with them. They're liable for your project. They can't walk away. You know, like they can't walk away without a conversation, especially after you paid them or whatever, or they have to give you some type of reason why they're walking away, and then you got preparation to replace them, you know. So right about now, the like my business account, like I'm funding everything myself right now, like, and I don't want you to think I got a whole bunch of money, because I don't, you know, like I got like when I'm not acting, I work I do production security for a lot of big network shows. So what I'm doing is every time I get paid, I take money out of my paycheck and I put it in my business account. And I'm like, before I even approach anybody for grants or sponsorship, I want to at least come to them with money in hand. So, because when you come with empty hands, you get empty promises. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness.
But
I'm so with you on that right now. That's what I'm in the process of doing. In fact, I was going to do with that extra time that I didn't have a lesson today. And it's so frustrating because I think when you're new, when you've got a new project like you're doing and a new company, they want to see some success, and like, next year is what some big corporations are telling me. And sometimes they're using the pandemic as an excuse, and we're doing an outdoor event later in the summer. Like, especially after the most recent announcement, there's no reason not to do this. So, I keep getting these excuses. Oh, we'll see what happens. And the thing is, when I've been telling them, like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen if we don't have some sponsors. So maybe I need, I'm learning something from you today, Jermel, that, we do have a little bit of money in the bank from some past fundraising that we've done. We don't have enough to do the 2 projects I want to do, which are live projects. We definitely have enough to do one of them. So, I'm just thinking about, do I just announce that? And then if we get, if they see that and we'll say, look, we've got this is happening. But if we could have that other sponsorship, then we can do this this is even bigger. So yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Tell me.
Yeah, like not for nothing. That's why I'm like, I gave myself a target goal. Like, when everybody was out spending a stimulus check on this and that, I was putting it into my business account, and I was taking money and doing what I do. So I told myself, I said, look, I said, if I could save $7,000 of my own money by August, then I could take 2,000 of that and shoot a short. I could shoot one short right there. Make sure with that $2,000, I could rent the space, I could pay my actors, I could pay for wardrobe, have them come with their own wardrobe, have them supply their own makeup or whatever, and get people who I know that want to work. And I can't promise them a lot of money. I'm like, look, I could give you like $50 of your time. It's a 2-day shoot. I give you $50 or $100 of your time, and then you can make something that that'll get people to come towards you. They see what the heck you got going on. They see that you self-funded it, and then they like, you know what? We want to be in business with you. So sometimes you got to give people a reason to give you that money. You
Right.
know, and not for nothing, you have a track record. So you got a lot of things that you've done already. I like if you had any recordings from the shows and everything like that. My advice to you, I would be like, I would just make a trailer,
Yeah.
a promotional trailer, and just promote it virally.
Okay.
You promote that promotional trailer virally, and like this, you show them all the highlights of the past shows, the audience reception of the past shows. If you did interviews with people or how they liked how the shows was, or
Right.
people that was in the show, or actors that was in the show, you can have them come and talk about what it's like to do this. And then when you get them all geared up at the end, we want this to happen, but we need your help. And I guarantee you, people are going to be lighting it up.
Okay. I love it. I love it.
No, absolutely. And, before we wrap up the show, but as we were talking about last night, and it was on the radio today, Cuomo said that no more masks, but in the CNC. Well, it's good news, but it's also bad news. But it's kind of like, oh, now, everything's got to go back to full capacity. But it's kind of like what I said to you yesterday, the blind leading the blind. It's kind of like we need, and like I said, PG-13, we need to get our shit together. It's kind of like not say, okay, no, go ahead.
No, like, because my thing is like this. Like, I'm not even going to lie to you. At one point, I was against the vaccination and stuff because when it first happened, I went a whole year without catching COVID. So I was like, man, they could keep that vaccination. I'm like, I went a whole year without catching it. But the problem was when I finally did catch it, I caught it, but I didn't have no symptoms, and I thought I was out of the woods. And then my grandfather caught it, but he made a full recovery and everything. So I said, you know what? I said, I don't want that to happen again. I said, I don't want, and then I have a nephew that I'm always around. So I was like, I don't know. We don't know how this affects kids. Right. So for that, regardless of what I feel about it, I went and I took the shot, and I'm going to take the shot. But I'll tell you like this, even though I'm going to go take the second one, I'll tell you like this, even though I'm taking that shot, I'm not taking off this mask until I know it's fully gone. Like,
hold on.
Well, that's the scary part is that hopefully this will disappear. But there's a lot of people that say it's not going to disappear. It's going to be like the flu, where you just get a shot or a booster shot once a year. It's not really comforting, but it's kind of like, and now especially with global warming, unfortunately, more of this is going to be coming up.
Well, but that's okay. That is, I mean, if we get the booster shot, if that does happen, right now they're really saying. Now I've been paying attention because you see, I showed you my vaccinated mask.
Yeah.
So, but I agree with you. It's hard to tell. I mean, I still wear them when my students come to my front door, and then we distance. I still put it on. It's a habit now. And on Thursdays when they made the announcement last week. And then on Friday, I went to 4 different businesses and I wore my mask because that's what they ask you to do. And how are they going to know? I have a card that says I'm vaccinated, but right now, I think it's hard for them to do that. So I think for now, I'm still going to wear mine too. The difference is I've taken it off like as soon as I get out of the store, whereas I used to go back to my car and hand sanitize and then take it off. Now I just, as soon as I get outside, I'm like, okay. So I feel, I'm a little better, a little better.
I mean, like, not for nothing, it's like, even though things are going down, people are still dying from this. Like, I just lost a cousin from COVID like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my thing, and what I'm afraid of is that once everything go back to full capacity, and then everybody stop wearing their masks, is what's going to happen. And I hate to say it, but it might another spike might happen.
Oh, what's going to happen? Just follow it, will be.
It's like India. And I just wanted to show you, since you talked about your little, and so this is my little. There he is.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, he's a newsie in this picture. He just had a dance recital, and he's only 7, so of course he's not eligible for a vaccine. I'm also a little scared because there's a history with vaccines and autism, even though that's been debunked, and he did get his flu vaccine this year. But I'm with you. We don't know how it affects children. And there was a child in here just before we met. I had a student who's 9, and she had COVID. She told me. So she has some protection because she did officially have it. So she's got some protection, but she won't be able to get the vaccine till the fall. So I agree with you, but I am so happy that Broadway is coming back. So that's not till September. So maybe by then we'll be in better shape.
No, absolutely.
I'm happy too, because y'all Broadway people are taking out TV jobs.
Well, I need y'all
to go back to work.
Well, I know. There's a lot of TV actors that take our Broadway jobs too all the time.
I mean, it's hard. I mean, it's a little bit harder for a television and film actor to take unless you're a household name.
Yeah, there have to be big names. That happens all the time.
Because I remember I went and auditioned for a play that Denzel Washington was directing, Iceman Come Up. I went to go audition for that. Yeah. And me, I'm not Equity. I could join Equity at any time, but that's not my primary. That's not my primary goal, Right. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I can't afford to get locked into a film right now, and I mean a stage production right now, and be taken away from a film because I haven't built my name the way I wanted to. But I could be like, you know what? Hey, I could take 6 months off to go do this play and everything like that.
But I will tell you, if you get if it's a principal role, then obviously you're going to go do the film, right? But I will tell you that for most of the shows, I mean, I was in a long-running show. I was in Phantom of the Opera, and for the most part, they would give me off if I had a big concert or a big, something big like that. If I had 2 days on SVU or something, they would give you that. They'll give you those personal days, especially in the long-running shows like that. And also, if you're in a new show, say I had an audition for a Music Man that's going to star Hugh Jackman. I didn't get it, but who knows? I'd still like to do it. Say it's a new job, a new show, and you have a new contract. If hey, I've got 2 days I've been offered on Brooklyn Nine-Nine or whatever, then you can get that put in your theater contract. So, they do it all the time. The big stars, by all means, they do it. But you can do that even as a lowly, non-household name actor. You could get that put in.
Right. No, absolutely.
I do want to do more theater, but I said, let me get a couple more of these big TV joints where I could,
Well, you're going to make more money on TV, but if you get a long running show, it's a good. Theater is a great on Broadway, of course, and some of the national tours are good paying jobs. But if you become a household name, then you get your name above the title on that Broadway show, and you get paid a whole lot more.
Oh, absolutely. Now we're wrapping up our show. We're going over the limit. But wrapping up, it was a real honor and privilege having both of you on the show. And one thing I do want to promote real fast, it's June 10th at 5 o'clock. If you guys are interested, you're more than welcome to join us on June 10th, 5 o'clock East. It will be the 8th-year anniversary of the KeithAndrewNetWork. But wrapping up our interview was a real honor and privilege having both of you on the show, and I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road.